now. Hello.
Oh no, it's on my computer. How do I switch it?
No, I did it.
Oh, you did it.
I did it. Hello.
That's
Hi.
5 seconds.
How's it going?
I don't think anyone's here yet.
I don't think anyone's here yet.
Oh,
3
there's
others
some
have
people.
joined.
Hello.
HFC started a live video.
Sorry, we're a little bit behind.
Hi, sorry. Hi, welcome. Hi, how's it going?
Hello. Oh, there she is.
Brown.
Hello.
Hi.
Ah, no, wait.
Oh, we missed it. There you go. Yes, you are welcome. Oh, hello.
Okay, hello. Oh, we're waiting. We're connecting.
Connecting.
Hello.
You guys, hi!
Hi. How's it going?
You guys are adorable. Trying to figure out the beginning of this live.
We, for some reason, became 90-year-olds in the last. My parents have an easier time doing this than I do.
I loved it. How are you guys doing?
We're great. How are you?
Okay. How are you doing?
I am good. I've been sitting here for about 10 minutes. I'm one of those really early birds. Like when we start, if I'm doing a live with someone, I don't want them to have to wait for me.
Well,
so I'm here at 11:50 waiting.
We had technical
We thought we were going to, it's shocking, but.
Yes. But thank you so much for joining us. Lauren has a little intro that she's going to give.
Well, let's let some people chime in before we start officially. So
yeah.
Where are you? Are you in LA or?
I'm in LA. Let's talk about this beautiful wood door behind you. What is this behind you? This is amazing.
I mean, it's a bathroom door, so it's.
Is it? I love it. It's adding a little bit of, a little something to the moment.
A little something. Hold on, Seth's head is too far. We're
gonna get. I have a giant head.
Maybe should I move back a little bit?
It's hard to get the whole thing in. It's so
exactly.
My head's pretty big too, guys.
All right, I'm gonna start. Okay. All right. A thing because I like to get all the things right. So, oh wait, just because this is the first time we met, is it Yvette? How do I pronounce your first name? I just want to make sure.
It's Yvette.
Yvette.
Most people don't even ask. I take Yvette, Yvette. They call me everything, but it's Yvette.
Well, I just, want to make sure. Okay, so we're so excited to have American voice actress, writer, comedian, host, and really funny lady, Yvette Nicole Brown, joining us today on Instagram Live. She's known for her roles on NBC's Community, and of course, Avengers Endgame. But what you might not know is actually that for the past 6 years, she has taken on the role of caregiver for her dad, Omar, who has Alzheimer's. Sorry that has been happening.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I thought we could start. Maybe do you want to tell us a little bit about your dad and his life and who he was before this disease came along?
Yes. My dad is the kindest, funniest, the wisest man that I've ever known. I'm sure everyone says that about their father, but he really
I don't.
is. You don't? No, Seth, not for you. But he really is just a wonderful, kind man. And I think the way we knew that something was going on, because he lived in Ohio and I was out in LA, is that he started to get really forgetful, and he never was that guy. Like he knew where to go. He knew what to do. If you had a question, he was that guy. He was the go-to guy. And I remember one time I went home to visit my aunt, and he was coming to my aunt's house, and he had been to my aunt's house 30 years. He'd been driving to her house, and he got lost 3 times on the way to her house. And this is before I even could imagine that this would be what would be coming for him. And so it's been a interesting journey as we watch different things kind of fall away. But I know you had the same journey, Lauren, with your mom. I feel like the beauty of it, if there is a beauty, is that we are allowed to be the caretaker of their memories.
Yeah.
And that is a really huge and wonderful honor, to be the one to hold on to things for them because they can't hold on to it anymore. And to remind them, even, I'm at the point of reminding him who he was and who he is, you know, so it's a thing. Where'd you guys go?
I don't know. Lauren did something.
I'm sorry.
Turn the screen? What's happening?
2,000 years old.
Wait,
Well, your voices sound great.
Lauren, good timing.
You just wanted the focus to be on me and my dad. I get it. I appreciate it.
Anything away from that.
Exactly.
Anyway, well, I'm just, so HFC is in the middle of our We Care campaign. We care a lot for caregivers. And I know that that's been, a role that you've really been playing. So, early on when you started noticing these things for your dad, What was that like for you?
You know, it's funny. I've been on the caregiving journey now for 6 years. I've had him with me. I'm his full-time caregiver for 6 years. I never stopped to think about what it would mean for my life or how things would change. And I'm actually glad I never did, because it's such a big lift that if I had stopped, I might have been afraid to do it. I would have done it anyway, but I would have done it with fear instead of doing it in the ferocious way that I did it. We were doing community had just gotten canceled. And I think we finished shooting on like a Friday, and I was on a plane to go get him 2 days after that. I was in Cleveland for 2 weeks, packing him up, closing out everything. I had to return his leased car and all of his cable. It was pack up his entire house. It was a lot, and it was just me and him doing this. And he was at his worst. This is before he was diagnosed. This is before he was on medication. So it really was me trying to wrangle his life without assistance from him.
Yeah.
And so once I got him back, and thankfully my mom lives nearby, and so she would come and help me in the beginning. You know, I don't have kids, so I didn't know what it was like to be responsible for the life of a human being. Like, I had no frame of reference for, I have to feed him, I have to make sure that he's okay, I have to entertain him, I have to make sure he gets exercise. Like, it was all these things that I'd never had to do, and it was overwhelming. But I will say, 6 years on the other side of it, still in the mix, it is the best tough thing I've ever done, or the toughest best thing I've ever done. I haven't landed on which one it is, but it's one of those two things. And I've never regretted it. Yeah. Not one day have I regretted the decision that I made. As hard as it is, it's still the best decision I've ever made.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is, you are a very strong human being. So way to go. That is amazing. So your dad moved in with you. Then what?
Then hilarity ensued. You know, listen, every day I'm like flying by the seat of my pants. Like, he's in a phase now where he doesn't want to eat anything.
Yeah.
And along with that wonderful phase, he's now gotten a little snarky, which he never was. He was always like, whatever you want, Yvette, whatever you need. Like, he's always been a very kind, congenial man. And now this other side, it's like he's going through his teenage years, or the terrible twos. I don't know which it is, but whatever I bring him, he's fussing about it. And I went in one morning and I was like, you know, because I try to be like, hey, daddy, like, I'm trying to be joyous every time I go in there, because he doesn't know what's happening, and it's not his fault. And I said, what are you thinking about? Thinking about how you probably gonna make me eat some cereal. Well, you know, good morning to you too, Mr. Omar. Like, it was literally, you know, and literally that's what I had. Like, I had cereal because that was the thing I knew he would eat.
Yeah.
It's not like I got to reinvent the wheel. Now we're moving on to smoothies because he's over Cheerios. So it's,
Right.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just curious, and feel free to say no, not at all. But as a comedian, you know, how do you feel light in all this? You know what I mean? Like in a way, one of, you know, the lessons that caregivers learn is to improvise, and which in a way is what you did with that. You're like, yes, we'll go get smoothies then.
Yeah.
How are you able to, you know, find these moments, like you just said, you know, of that, like, that levity there?
Well, first I want to say, I wish I could claim comedian, but I'm just a comedic actress. I've never done stand-up, so I don't ever like to take that from those that have done it.
I'm a comedian all the time, so don't.
Okay. Thank you. So as soon as I can do it, I'll say that.
He can be comedian. Gary doesn't get to decide who's a comedian.
Thank you, brother. I will take it. The way I see it, you guys, you know, you only make it through tough times with comedy. For me, I'm a person of faith, so it's the Lord and comedy. And my dad is to this day, is still one of the funniest people I know. Like, even in his snarkiness, it was hilarious what he said to me. And so I've decided that I'm going to, whatever this experience is for me or for him, I'm going to make it through with joy. I don't know any other way to be, you guys. I can't let what's happened to him and what is thus become my responsibility make me hard or evil or mean. I have to continue to bring joy to his life, because that's what he brought to mine. So I'm in it, and we're gonna laugh when we can. We're gonna cry when we can, and we're gonna keep it moving. Because what other choice do we have? Like, we're learning in this period of time, we're all in. with racial unrest and a pandemic trying to kill us all and a madman in office, we all have to figure out, how do we survive this today? And it's literally a today type thing. It's step by step, day by day, enough light on the pathway for the step that's in front of me. And that's the way I've always lived my life. And I'm doing it even more now because I'm a caregiver.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, it's an interesting thing. I'm curious, do you share, at this point, are you caring for your dad with anyone? Do you have someone that comes in, or it's all you all the time?
It's all me. If I go out of town for work, my mom will come and stay with him.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom did the best thing like last week, because he's been a little rough these last couple of weeks. I don't know what. I'm hoping it's a phase and not a new plateau.
Yeah.
But, my mom was like, go to your room and close the door. I'm going to come over. I'm going to have my mask and my gloves, and I'm going to stay with him for the afternoon. And that's what she did. And so I got to just sit and just watch Netflix and just veg out and not have to think about any other responsibility, but just me. And I haven't just thought about me in 6 years, you know, and I've got a dog now too. So it's been between the dog and my dad, it's been all my time is spent. Did they eat? Did they go to the bathroom? Are they comfortable? Are they happy? You know, it's been that. So that was a gift that my mom gave me. And because we're in the pandemic, thankfully, I can take care of it because I'm home.
Yeah.
But you know, listen, some days, guys, some days it's, you know.
I mean, yeah, I mean, Lauren's father was the caretaker, and we had to wrestle away moments of, you know, respite for him. And,
Yeah.
and you know, a lot of caretakers, you know, actually die before the person they're taking care of, was something that we were highly aware of, and something very much didn't want to see. And like, yeah, I mean, it's so understandable that people want to take on everything, but I also think that, yeah, it's always good to remember that like everyone needs a break.
Yeah. I'm trying to learn that. Someone says, well, are you practicing self-care? I'm like, what is that? What is that? I don't know what that is, but you know, I thankfully, like I said, I've had enough grace to make it through every day. Sure. And moments like this, like being able to talk to people that have been through it, it's nice to have, just like, how you doing? You okay? Okay. Yeah. You know, it's nice to have that little bit of moment, because you guys totally understand.
That's a perfect question. I'm just curious, and no worries if you have you ever done a support group, or, you know, done any of that?
I haven't yet. I'm getting to a point in this journey where I feel like it will probably be helpful, because I'm also someone that believes in therapy, and I haven't done that recently yet again either. So I do think it's important to talk to, for therapy wise, to talk to someone that doesn't have a horse in the race. And then as a support group, you need to talk to people that have been where you've been. And so thank you for reminding me that I need to look into finding something like that for myself.
Well, then I'll do a shameless plug for HFC.
Do it. Give it to me. Give it to all of us.
You know, to all of everyone that's listening, that HFC has online support groups. I, early on in my journey, joined a support group that was amazing, but it was 45 minutes from my house, and it started at 7 p.m. in Los Angeles. And so you know what that means.
Yeah, I do. Traffic.
Hour and a half from my house.
Yes.
And it met once a month. And so if I had to miss 1 month, it was 2 months or 3 months between connecting with people. And for me, I think connecting with people was the beginning of seeing, you know, some sort of light in the dark journey. And so we have online support groups where we group people together, you know, by circumstance. So it's not, you know, someone who is, there's a beeping. There's not someone, you know, who is, you know, in their early 20s or 30s, someone who is in a different circumstance, who's losing someone in their 50s or 60s, which, you know, I think that connecting with people who really understand, like you said, is so key to getting through this. It's such an isolating and lonely thing to care for your loved one with this disease. And, you know, that's something that we at HFC are really trying to focus on, is how do we help caregivers directly today. So if you ever want to join one of our support groups, we can make sure.
I'm going to take you up on it.
Okay.
I really am, because I think it's time.
Deal. I know, it's so hard. Well, and you know, what's interesting is these days with being home, and obviously you're caring for your dad, so it's hard, but like for me, therapy was a huge key in getting through everything. Early on, I dumped everything onto Seth, and he was great, but he's not a trained professional. And as you said, having someone who doesn't have a horse in the race, like, is
Right.
key. And
the best thing I ever did was implore Lauren to go to therapy. Yeah, for a lot of reasons. I'm always afraid that it's going to turn against me one day, but it hasn't so far.
It's a great thing.
She's never.
First of all, can I just take a moment that somebody thought I was Janet Jackson, and I will now give you the $20 I owe you, kind stranger.
Yeah.
That's the best compliment I've ever gotten.
Yeah, but yeah, profession. That's what I saw. I mean, with Lauren, it's like it's so traumatic and it's so hard and it's so unnatural and such an unnatural level of pain, and
Yeah.
it's not like other diseases that I was just. Again, my only helpful thought was like this is a professional level of grief that you're dealing with, and of, you know, it's not something that the average person can talk you through. It's something is, you know, it's an exceptional circumstance, and
I agree.
And accepting that is also like a lot of people don't want to think they're in some sort of especially bad situation. There's this like woe is me thing, I think, a little bit, but I think like it is an especially difficult thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the thing that always got me, because my dad's dad passed away from Alzheimer's as well, and my Aunt Shirley took care of him. It was a different circumstance because my dad's mom and father were both deaf. So she was the main caregiver because she knew ASL the best out of everyone. And, you know, that's her dad, the same way this is my dad, you know. But I learned from that experience, watching what she went through with my grandfather, that Alzheimer's is a human being forgetting how to be a human being.
Right.
And that part of it, once I realized that that's what I was facing, that's when the terror set in. Because any other disease, they may lose their faculties in one way or another, but they're aware of their humanity the entire time. They know that they need to eat food. They know that they need to sleep. They know they need to go to the bathroom. They know how to do all of those things, right? With Alzheimer's, they slowly forget. They lose the desire to eat and those types of things. And then they start to forget how to do those things. And so when you think about that level of deterioration from someone that was your hero, you know, or in your case, Lauren, your mom, it becomes like this, what? Like your mind can't even wrap around that eventuality. You know, every moment that you're walking it, we all know how it is going to end, but you just hope for a cure, or you hope for a treatment, or you hope for something that will at least prolong that eventuality.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what makes the journey so like,
yeah. Something that really helped me, like I said, was starting to connect and talk about it, share my story. And you amazingly have done the same in talking about what you're going through and sharing it, which is so brave and so appreciated, you know, by people that are going through it, by people like me. I'm just curious what that process of starting to talk about it publicly was like for you. What made you decide to talk about it?
You know, it was such a not great reason why I had to do it. I had, like I said, Community had gotten canceled, and then it got picked back up by Yahoo.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked Dan Harmon and the Sony producers if I could be released, and I told them why. And then a nice hate campaign from fans began, because they didn't like that I wasn't going to be Shirley anymore. And they hit me up on Twitter, and they talked about it in groups, and how dare she. And right after I got released from Sony, I ended up getting a gig on CBS on a multicam. And you guys know, single cam is the 16-hour days. Multicam is a maybe 20-hour week. Like, it's just a better way to live, right? In general, but definitely if you're a caregiver. And so this gift of The Odd Couple came right as I was starting to take care of my dad, and I jumped at it because I still have to feed him. I still have to pay bills.
Right.
And the fans were very upset that I couldn't do Community, but all of a sudden I could do this little sitcom. And so I had to then come out and explain why.
Oh, wow.
And the difference between a single camera work week and a multicam work week. And it really was like, really, guys? Like, really your need for a television character on a character on television needs to supersede the need for me to care for my father? Really? Is this what we're doing? So I came out about it a little hot. I was a little upset, right?
Deserve
How
to have been,
people-
Right. But then once I did, I started to get responses from people that were going through the same thing, and people started to really understand. And I got to talk about Alzheimer's and dementia. It was dementia at the time. He hadn't gotten the Alzheimer's diagnosis. I got to talk about dementia in a way and learn about dementia and Alzheimer's in a way that I hadn't before. So even in that darkness, there was a gift.
Yeah.
And moments like this, you know, when you guys reached out and said, can you chat? I was like, please, I would love to, because, you know, sadly, we all become advocates for things once we are affected. And I don't think it comes from a sinister place. I think you're just not aware of it until you have to deal with it. And so I want people to know about Alzheimer's. I want them to know about it before they have to face it with someone in their family, so they have all the information they need to make it better for themselves and for their loved one, you know. So it worked out. It was a weird way, but it worked out.
Yeah. Wow. All right. We've got some questions, I think.
There's questions. Okay.
Again.
You keep doing
Hold
it.
on.
Why do you keep leaving me? Why do you go away?
Question thing.
You keep flipping the video.
There we go.
Can you say hello to me?
No, these are
silly
These
questions.
are not good questions.
Not great questions.
Not on topic questions. Good questions.
Not on topic. Everyone loves you. They love you, Seth. I'm seeing in the comments. They want you to laugh. I don't know what that's about. They need your laugh. They said it's healing.
Are there do you do it, like, brain health is something that we talk a lot about lately, and like something that we've learned more and more about over the years, and I'm just so fascinated by how little the average person, myself included, knows about what to do to take care of their brain. I mean, always saying, like, everyone knows, like, if you don't want a heart attack, don't eat fried food every day. If
right.
you want your legs to stop working, exercise, go on walks. But no one knows what to do to keep their brain healthy. It's just not a topic of conversation,
right?
Really, in any way, shape, or form. And so, but then we've started meeting doctors and neurologists and gotten more involved in that whole world. And we've found there's actually tons of things you could do to keep your brain very healthy. And you can, even if you're very genetically predisposed to having a disease like Alzheimer's, there's a lot you can do to put it off for years and decades till you die from something else, you know? And so,
right.
So do you do things to keep your brain healthy? Are there things that you
you know what's funny, and now that you say that, it seems ridiculous what I'm about to say. I was so focused on his brain health that I have not.
Oh yeah.
Like, the one thing that I did do recently, you guys have seen the commercial for Prevagen. I finally got some Prevagen. Now, I don't know if it works. I don't know the deal, but they said that it keeps you sharp.
Is it Alzheimer, one of the Alzheimer's medications?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I think it's over the counter. It's something.
Oh,
like
it is. It's one of these like brain things. Yeah.
Yeah, like the brain fog ones, you know. And so I've seen the commercial for a couple of years, and I finally just bought it. It's over the counter. But I am excited about finding out about HFC for this reason too, because as I researched on you guys as well and what you're doing, I like that you're trying to get us started on a path that will protect us, or at least defer if there is a dementia thing coming in the future. So I think that's really great that you guys do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's one of those things, kind of like losing weight, where there's only an annoying answer to it, which is like, and it's like, you can't eat, like, sugar is terrible for your brain.
I'm on it.
I know. I love sugar. Who doesn't love it? Sleep is good for your brain, and I don't like sleep. You know, I like sleeping. Laura likes sleeping. I would like to not sleep that much, but there are things like exercise is very good for your brain. You know, it's these things that
Now I'm out, Seth.
Exactly. It's the most annoying answer in the entire world, unfortunately. But and it is a little different for everyone. But it's definitely the kind of thing that, the more, and it's also weirdly intuitive. Which a lot of things that work are, I think. But yeah, it is something that is just, people are just weird about their brains, and brains are just a taboo topic of conversation. Mental health, mental illness. Like, as soon as someone's brain stops working perfectly, people get very uncomfortable and kind of don't know what to do, as opposed to every other body part, you know.
But you know what else too? And I think the reason that happens is because the idea of not being all there is so scary. So
Yeah.
we don't even want to think about it. One of the things that I learned when I started this journey was that dementia is just a catch-all phrase for memory loss, and that just about every person on this planet, by the time they leave here, will have a little bit of dementia, because as you get older, you just think of your brain as a computer, a desktop. At a certain point, you just got so many things open on the desktop that after a while you can't access that one thing you're looking for, right? And so some basic memory loss, like where are my keys? I don't know where I put my phone. Who was I supposed to call back, at 5 o'clock? That kind of stuff comes for us all. And that's what always makes the initial dementia diagnosis or the Alzheimer's diagnosis so hard, because most of us, when we start to lose a little bit of that, we try to cover it.
Yeah.
We lie about it. We pretend that we know someone's name that we don't know. And so it takes a little longer. So that dance, as I get older, I'm starting to do that. Like, where are my keys? So part of it is accepted and expected for all of us, but that next level, the Alzheimer's level, that's the one we have to try to stop and beat back as long as we can.
Very much. I mean, like my grandmother died when she was in her late 90s, and the last few years, she was very repetitive and forgetful. Whereas Lauren's mother, in her early 50s, was more advanced than my grandmother ever.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's a 45-year difference, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's, I think a lot of people don't understand that kind of gap as well, that people much younger can get it. And yeah, it's exactly that.
Yeah. And like you said, the difference between
natural aging,
older age dementia, and Alzheimer's disease, or Lewy body, or dementia related Parkinson's, all these aggressive dementias that, as you said in the beginning, take away everything that makes you a human.
Yeah.
And it is one of those just devastating for the people that, that love you, and it's, it's why we're here, so we can change it. So yeah. Well, okay. We've taken up so much time. This has been so lovely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Do a quick little plug here before we wrap up.
Oh, we're plugging?
As I said early on, HFC is in the middle of our We Care campaign. Look, this is a hard time for everyone, and we want to acknowledge, but as we've talked about today, we at HFC try to focus on caring for caregivers like yourself. And so our partnership, we have partners with Home Instead Senior Care, where we provide at-home care for people who need relief and respite. So a donation of $25 can fund 2 hours of in-home care to a caregiver like you, who needs a break, who needs to go under a door and watch Netflix for 2 hours. And we have some fun things happening. If you donate $75, you get a t-shirt, because who doesn't want a $75 t-shirt?
Exactly. It's all right. If you live in LA, that's how much you're paying anyway.
That's true. That's true.
It's not helping anyone.
You get a little bit more, you get a bracelet also. But what you're doing is supporting caregivers. You're helping us to provide care for people who need a break, who need a respite for caring for their loved ones. So,
and can I say something to that?
Please,
of course.
Please.
It's important. I want everybody that's in here to understand that they are not talking about necessarily me. I can pay for care. So don't have them see them saying this to me and go, well, why Yvette need? No, this is about people that don't have the means.
No, we have an application process where we vet out.
There we go. So it's for people that actually are doing this tough work and don't have the means to get help. No. So what HFC does is very important. So they're saying it in a fun, lovely way, but that $25, that hour of care or 2 hours of care can change a life.
Yeah.
It really can give someone what they need to be able to continue to care for the person they love. I'm sorry, I just wanted to make sure they were clear on that.
Thank you. Thank you for helping our plug. So, so anyway, thank you to everyone who joined us today. Thank you. We have partners for our campaign at Home Instead Senior Care and Kensington Senior Living. We actually have a matching campaign right now happening. If we raise up to $28,000, that will be matched. Again, we understand these are wild times for everyone, but if you can support a caregiver, we certainly would put your dollars to good use. So Yvette, thank you
Thank you so much.
for all you do and for sharing your story,
Yeah.
for joining us today. I hope that when we can see each other in person, we can meet in person and I can hug you for all that you do. So thank
I would love to actually be able to hug you at some point. I hope we
I
can
know.
leave our house and do that.
It feels weird to have such intimate conversations like this and then not be able to.
Yeah.
I know. Thank you for having me, you guys, and thank you for all that you do. It really does change lives. It's important.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.